Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Sonya Ross, founder and editor-in-chief of Black Women Unmuted. And I am so thrilled to tell you about the things that we can do to be good guardians of our psychological health in this very frenetic election season. I am so thrilled to be joined by Dr. Roselyn Aker-Black. Dr. Ross, a psychology professor and guardian of the psychological zeitgeist around our election. And I'm just so glad that you have joined us, Dr. Ross.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been a trying time this election season. So
Hasn't
thank you
it
for,
though?
yeah. And thank you for actually having this conversation because we aren't talking about this. So I appreciate you reaching out to me. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, that's what we do. We take what the sisters are thinking about off mute, one
Yeah.
topic at a time, one story at a time. So let's just get right to it. This is the sort of the little, I don't want to say dirty little secret, but that's really exactly what it is, right? A dirty little secret of this presidential campaign is just how nervous it has made everyone with
Yeah.
the added component of history, the weight
Yeah.
of history.
Yeah.
So, especially for us Black women. So, can you just jump right on in on that and get right to the heart of the matter about our psychological health?
Well, here's the thing. As you know, Black women are the least protected women in our society, unfortunately. And just this election, the way that the things that have been said about Vice President Harris are just unbelievable. I recently saw that other man, the former, who's running against her, simulating a whole sexual act at a rally. Like,
Yes.
how disgusting, right? How
Right,
disgusting. If it was another man, he would not do that, right? But the
right,
mere fact that he thought that he could disrespect this Black woman who has the highest office in the land, one of the highest offices in the land, because he doesn't revere Black women, right? And he has a whole lineage, a litany of people who are at his really rallies cheering him on with this foolishness. So it's almost ridiculous, and it is terrifying because on one hand, we want to create history, right? We want to see her succeed. The country needs her to succeed, right?
right.
However, on the other hand, we are terrified because what we do know is that um, we're going to be attacked. Black women are going to be attacked, and it's showing up in different states around here, especially in the southern states. They're selling out of bullets, they're selling out of guns, and it's almost like Black women protect yourselves. And it's this ideology that we're coming after Black women. And so when you think about that, that's terrifying. Just because
I
we want,
did, yeah, I did wonder
did you
that.
see that?
I
Yeah,
did wonder that. I said, oh my goodness, if a Black woman gets
yeah,
the most powerful job on planet Earth,
yeah.
will any of us have jobs? Are we going to be able to work, take care of our families, protect our children, love our husbands, our partners, our friends, our mothers, our fathers? What becomes of us in our daily lives?
It's
And
terrifying to think.
it is. So how can you manage that? Especially given the way we internalize on absolutely everything. And we also push it down and compartmentalize and say, I'm good, I'm okay, I gotta deal
Yeah,
with it, I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what should we be doing?
Here's the thing. Black women are so used to being oppressed and mistreated that we already know how to kind of manage it. But here's the thing, we shouldn't have to, Sonya. We shouldn't have
Yeah,
to be in that place because someone has a dream to make a better world for us, right? And she just
right.
happens to have our skin tone. So we shouldn't have to be in that place. And so what I would encourage people to do, if you are in this space, because it's producing anxiety. Right now I'm working with a lot of first-time voters, and they are terrified. They're terrified about the vote as first-time voters. This is probably the most important election of their entire lives. And they're terrified because If that other person succeeds, most of my students are at school on financial aid. So they're like, Dr. Ross, how am I going to be able to come back to school? Right? If he shuts down the Department of Education, like how am I going to manage? So these babies, and most of them are of people of color, right? They
Right.
are stressed out, and Black women are stressed out. My college roommate, she's just like, listen, I got 3 guns. Come on, and I ain't afraid to use them, right? But there are not a lot of Black women toting hand. I mean, there may be, I don't know, but I don't own a gun. That most of us don't really own a gun.
Right.
Whatever reasons you may not want to have them, but the mere fact that you have to think about that, we're always, as women, we are always thinking about our safety and our protection. And fortunately, men don't have to worry about that too much because they can somewhat protect themselves. Not saying that we can't, but we're always vigilant. We are always vigilant about our protection. And so if you are having a lot of anxiety producing inducing moments, I would make sure that you have that you're reaching out to a mental health professional so that you can manage that, so that you have someone that you're talking to weekly about these anxieties. We're always, and be vigilant. Don't be hyper vigilant, because that's going to give you, and the difference between, let me explain the difference.
Okay.
Vigilant is like keeping your head on a swivel, making sure you're looking around, making sure you're being safe, making sure you are not putting yourself,
Watching your back.
yeah, watching your back, making
Watch
sure
your
you're not
back.
putting yourself in dangerous situations, like leaving and walking to your car late at night. Like, don't do things like that. Hypervigilant would be on almost like paranoid about it. So if you feel like you are in that space where you're afraid to leave the house, where you're getting somewhat social agoraphobia, right? If you feel like you are in that space, then most definitely look out for, try to get a therapist. And what I love is that you can go to the Boris L. Henson Foundation, which is Taraji's foundation, and they provide free therapy for us.
Oh,
I,
that is awesome to
a lot of
know.
people don't know that, but they provide free therapy for us. In any city in America, you can dial 211 for
Oh,
resources. It's just like calling 911, but you can dial 211 to get back to your question that you asked. What happens if
yeah.
if we're out of work? Well, 211 will help you with rent. And this is ran by United Way. They will help you with rent. They'll help you with food banks. They'll help you with things to help you get by your utilities. So in any city in America, you can dial 211 to get resources. And so
That is good to know.
yeah, there are resources. I know it feels like there isn't, but there are resources. I think what Taraji is doing with her foundation is fantastic. And not only can you do therapy through her free therapy, but you can also take free yoga classes, things that help you relax and relate. Because here's the thing, if you can't be anxious and relaxed at the same time. So if you are
You cannot.
practicing something like mindfulness, where you are and if your audience doesn't know what that is, mindfulness is where you are just focusing really on one thing and being very present in the moment. And so if
Okay.
you're practicing mindfulness, then that reduces your anxiety, because what it does is that it takes away the stress of thinking about everything else. Because what we know as women is that we try to resolve and solve everything. Yes. And so,
Yes.
and what we know about Black women is that you give Black women $2 and they gonna flip that to 2,000, 2,500. They're gonna make it work, right?
We do the miracle of the fishes and the loaves every day out
Every
here.
day, every
Now,
day.
compounding upon that is this burden society has given us
Yeah,
as the guardians of democracy, as the people who have risen time and again to save this democracy. And isn't it ironic, the full manifestation of that at this moment
yeah,
means a Black woman and Black and South Asian woman stepping up as the guardian of democracy
yeah.
here in terms of her presidential candidacy. So let's
It's
just say, for the sake of our conversation here, this election turns out in her favor.
yeah,
Does that open a whole new set of questions, issues, concerns that oddly enough are coupled with joy about the situation that
yeah.
we should be mindful of as we go forward?
Yes, because we have to realize that there are people who do not want her to be successful. And
Yes.
and that's okay. That's their right. That is their right. That for whatever reason, they drank the Kool-Aid of the other candidate. So that is their right.
Some of us feel that way. We don't
Yeah,
want
and
her.
some of us
Yes.
that look like us feel that
Look
way,
like
right?
us, don't feel that way.
Some of us that
Yes.
feel that way. So I think we have to be the truth is we're not all monolithic, right? So we do
Mhm.
have different lived experiences. And so we do have to be respectful of someone's law. It's Tuesday's going to be hard for everyone. It's going to be
Mhm.
hard for everyone because he's already gearing up to fight and say she's lying. He's already filing lawsuits. So we probably aren't going to know anything until maybe Friday, unless she sweeps Pennsylvania. Unless she gets Pennsylvania, then it's a done deal, right? Um,
Or if there's just this epic landslide that cannot be denied,
it
we
cannot be,
can't
yeah,
possibly
exactly.
know. The epic landslide might happen, might not happen. The court cases, the battles that are going to have to be fought, and then after that long slog uh, comes the presidency itself. So,
Yeah.
should we realistically expect that there will ever be a time when we, as Black women, as women of color in the society, might be able to find room to breathe?
I would hope so. It is my prayer that we do because we're tired. Black women are tired of saving this country. But what I realize is that the beauty of this election is that it's not just us. Women are stepping up to save this country. And so finally we have somebody having our back, right?
Right.
And so it feels amazing to have others see our plight, to actually be allies with us and to see what we've been dealing with all our lives and to see how hard it is for us to make this change. I want to shout for joy. I want to be so excited for more than one reason. I mean, you and I, we have a special connection to her, and we have to
Yes.
be careful about that too,
Don't
in
we?
regards
Yeah.
because at this point, I'm like, we went to go vote. My husband and I went to go vote, and I took like all insignia off the car because I was just like, I don't want anyone. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I just because you don't know. Yeah, I don't
You
want
don't.
anybody like coming after me, or anything of that nature. And so, it we have deserved the right to be joyous if
To
she
be
wins.
joyous. And what's the
We
problem with it? I don't snatch Trump tags and flags off of people's vehicles or out of their
right,
yards or anything
right.
like that. I've let anyone who's expressed themselves as a supporter of former President Trump, I tell them that's your right. You're
Yeah,
allowed to.
yeah,
You are free
yeah,
to support him, and that is why it's called freedom.
absolutely.
So why anyone thinks that it's not fair to do the same when it comes to Vice President Kamala Harris, I have no idea.
It is
Um,
it's sad. It's sad to be honest with you. It's a bit problematic. I mean, I've seen families torn apart because of the difference in how they see the selection. And some people are single issue voters, and so some people are just in a space where they just cannot understand the magnitude of what's at stake here. And that's okay.
right,
They have a lived experience. And so that's okay. I mean, they have a different lived experience from those that are choosing a more sensible route for us. We all have to pick, we need people on both sides, basically. But we all have to pick what is best for us. And I think in regards to managing the stress around this election, the anxiety around this election, you have to have a real moment with yourself and ask yourself what you're dealing with. And here's some things to look out for. If you're becoming forgetful a lot, like what was I supposed to do? What was I doing? You're too stressed out. You have too much going on. So if you're having forgetful moments, if going to a place, like say going to your job, is causing you to have moments in the car where you got to get yourself together before you go in, then there is something in your environment that is stressing you out. So you have to do some form of investigation about what is going on. And sometimes that's hard because we all need our livelihoods, right?
right,
We all
right, right.
need we all need to bring home that check every 2 weeks. We got to pay the bills, you know. We all
Yeah.
need that in our lives. And so we never want to disrupt the boat, but we have been doing that all our lives. And it really is unfair. And so there is this idea of joy coming because if she does win, then maybe things can be a little different from us. You know,
Yeah.
and I 100% believe that she is going to be the president for all people. I mean, I think that is who she is. What I recently learned about her is that she went around and really talked to different groups, different people to ask what we wanted. And so
Mhm.
that is what her plan is. So like we developed the plan that she has. The people developed the plan. So it really feels like in this moment that this is someone who is for us, who's working for us. And it feels great that it happens to be, you know, a Black woman. And
Oh
I
yeah.
always say Black women will save this world. I have been saying that for years. Black women will save this world.
I do my part, I tell
Yeah,
you. I'm out here trying to do my part right now,
yeah,
by having these types of conversations. I like the fact that you brought up consider your stress level.
yeah,
I think would it be a good idea for all of us, regardless of what demographic you belong to develop a stress management plan. Because the emotions, and especially hostility and anger, have been running on 8 cylinders for the past
yeah,
2 years.
yes. It's
And
been a
it's been
lot.
a constant in the air. And so, would it be a good idea to have stress management as just part of your daily run? I take my vitamins, I eat my breakfast, and kick in my stress management mechanism.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At 100%. 100%. Because here's the truth. No one knows you better than you. And no one knows what you're dealing with. And we're so used to just saying, oh, I'm good. Listen, we're so used to functioning under stress that we don't realize that our bodies are worn down until it's like, I can't get out the bed. I can't get up. I can't do this. I'm in pain. So we start having physical pains, which should alert you to the emotional pain that you are experiencing. Because when you have emotional pain, physical pain often shows up. You ever gotten out the bed one day and you're like, why is my knee hurting? And then we blame it on age, right? Right.
Right.
But if you go back and if you do like some real observation of yourself and look at your emotions and what you've been feeling that day, that is your emotional pain getting your attention. So wherever there is physical pain, you are going to have an emotional pain parallel to it and vice versa. Emotional pain, there's going to be physical pain. Physical pain, there's
Okay.
going to be emotional pain. Yeah, so a stress
Okay.
management plan is fantastic.
Okay. So we can put that down as one of the takeaways. I'd like, as we wrap up here, give
Yes.
us three solid takeaways. We know stress management is one for our post-election, uh for getting our groove back post-election. Three
Mhm.
solid takeaways for the people.
This is going to sound weird, but breathe. We have all been
Breathe.
waiting around with breathe, breathe.
Breathe.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've all been waiting around with bated breath, like what's going to happen. We've all been stressed out with bated breath, like what is going to happen. So develop a stress management plan. Breathe. Take the time to do breath work, right? Because again, it is physically impossible to be anxious and relaxed at the same time. So just
Mhm.
breathing would change your mood state in 7 minutes or less. And so just doing breathing exercises can help. So just take the opportunity to breathe. And then
Okay.
the last thing, cut off the TV. Stop inundating yourself with the mess because we're going to get more upset what after Tuesday because the foolishness is coming. The reality of it is coming. So just turn the TV off. Just be like I haven't been able to I haven't watched the TV any this last week because after I saw what he did at what was said at Madison Square Garden, my blood pressure was so high. I was like, I can't lose my life over this, right? So
Right.
just being in tune with how your body feels and really being in tune with it because we don't, right? We don't sit down and really think about how am I feeling about this? How am I feeling about this? How am I feeling about this moment? So just knowing your body and knowing your stress levels will help, will help you a lot in terms of getting your groove back.
Those are really wonderful takeaways. Dr. Roz Aker-Black, thank you for
Thank you for
coming
having me.
in to talk with us. We'll have you back
Okay.
because this post-election stress management is a real thing. And I get the sense we're going to have to do more of that going forward. So I am just so grateful. Where can people find you? I see it over your shoulder there. I am drross.org, but
Yep,
tell the
you
people
can
where they
find
can find you.
yep, you can find me. My website is iamdrross.org. You can find out about all my classes, all of my events there. But I am on social media at Dr. Roz Aker-Black. I'm very simple. It's just my name. So DrRosakerblack. So Dr. Roz Aker-Black on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm even on TikTok. I'm not on X anymore, or whatever it's called, Twitter, whatever it is. I deleted
Yeah.
that app because, but yeah, you can find me in those places just by my name, simply by my name.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and we will see you out here in the post-election streets.
Thank you so much for having me.